Alright, what's good YouTube? Gentleman Thomas here, and I am the coach of the Copenhagen Gallades. And this was supposed to be my UPA playoff match. Now, it is technically still the match, but unfortunately I had muted my mic. I have this button on the back of my headset that whenever I press it, it mutes the mic in the headset, and apparently I have hit that button prior to recording, and I didn't notice. So that actually means I have to now voice over the replay here, and the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna let the replay play a bit, and I will talk over. But if there's something happens that I want to explain my thought process or whatever, I will quickly stop it, and then I will quickly explain, and then I will continue it. I will try to remain spoiler free until the end, but this is my very first time doing a what's it called, a recap kind of video, or a post match um voiceover of the game. So I'm sorry that, of course, it's the playoff match that has to happen like this. So I went up against Shark of the Boston Bisharks. He brought Landers, Therian, Weezing, Galar, Bronzong, Sneasel, Raikou, and Charizard, Mega Charizard X. Now, I expected most of his team. Sneasel and Weezing were the biggest surprises. I did expect him to bring the Primarina over the Weezing, most likely. And Sneasel, I can see why he brought it to kind of deal with Mew, and it also hits my Delmise, which I have brought Delmise a decent amount this season. So I could understand the Mew, but I definitely think the Weezing was a little bit weird in a sense, just because Mew is very good against it, and it can't do a whole lot to Mew besides maybe toxic it. But yeah, I will just start the match here. So I led up with Terrakion, because Terrakion, as if you watch the team builder, was a Sash lead. Now, quick here, what's funny is I didn't notice this during the match, but Terrakion's Sash actually didn't pop. The Gyro Ball from Bronzong only did 99%, so the Sash never popped. I still survived. I would have survived no matter what. But it was a fun thing. My Shark and we talked about after, because I didn't notice. Until after, when he actually pointed it out. Now, actually, I will go on slow here. Now, the Bronzong is one of those mons that it can be really annoying to deal with, but I felt like I had some decent answers. Now, this Toxic on Delmise was actually really annoying, because I didn't bring any status healing on Vaporeon this time around, so I kind of had to just deal with the Toxic as much as possible. Now, this Poltergeist, actually, even though I'm at -1, it does really good damage to Landorus, so I never understood why he went to Landorus, because if I had Power Whipped, I could actually two-shot him even at a -1, and I wouldn't have died to that knockoff either. So it was an interesting thing that he did win for it. Now, Vaporeon in this match, even though he has a Raikou, Vaporeon actually did really well. He had a tough time dealing with it. As you can see here, I had the Wish Protect on Vaporeon, just because I wanted to make sure I can heal it up if I needed, but also just I couldn't potential Wish Pass. Now here we see his reasoning for bringing the Weezing, and it was basically because he had Toxic Spikes and he wanted to Toxic Spikes my team. Now, I understand the concept behind it, because my own Weezing is not 100% a grounded mon, so I don't necessarily have a grounded poison type. So I got the reasoning behind it. Now, here is something where I was both scared, but also a little bit relieved. I was scared because a Charizard at +2 is always going to be a dangerous thing, but at the same time, without him getting the speed boost of potential D-Dance or Scale Shot, because as you could see, he was Dragon Claw and not Scale Shot, Terrakion can actually outspeed and OHKO this thing all the time, unless he's like super bulky. So I was a little bit relieved, because that meant even if I would lose a Mon, I could always revenge with the Terrakion. Of course, with the Toxic Spike being on the field, that would mean as soon as Terrakion got out, it would die after it had done a hit. Now, here we had gone a bit back and forth. It took this was like a fairly long sequence in the actual game, where he couldn't really break through with Porion, and I kind of just tried to figure out when I could go into the mons I wanted to go into, and I had prepared Grimmsnarl to take hits from the Charizard and then put up the Reflect. He swapped out his Raikou, allowing me to actually put up my light screen. He feared I was either Taunt or Thunder Wave, which I kind of understand. Like, mostly the Thunder Wave. The Taunt, I think, was odd. Like, why wouldn't you just attack then? Now I finally got into my Dhelmise, so I could Rapid Spin this Toxic Spike away. And I actually decided to stay in because behind screens, I don't take too much damage from knockoff, and I can do a lot of damage to the Landorus. Now, this Poltergeist and Weezing confirmed that he's very, very, very physically defensive. Also, this with him going into Charizard, that was a very interesting play, but I also learned very fast why he went into Charizard, because he's a Roost set, which, I mean, that made sense with Sword Stance. Now, I kind of figured, okay, at this point I might as well let Dhelmise go down, because I can't really manage to heal it up. I missed this Poltergeist, and I know I said I wouldn't spoil too much, but this miss is actually gonna matter a bit in the future. Now here I actually go into Terrakion, because as I said, I can always kill this Charizard with Stone Edge. Now I clicked Close Combat, simply just because it was the better neutral play. Plus, if Terrakion died, I got a free turn into to Mew, or a free turn into Noivern or something else, which didn't necessarily matter. Now, this here, and I'm gonna stop it real quick. This was a very deciding moment. What occurred here. Now, I think he didn't. I don't know exactly why, because as I mentioned in the beginning of the battle, he didn't see a focus sash pop, so he didn't know I was sash. So I think he thought that I was potentially Scarf or Choice Band, and I was locked into close combat at the moment. So that's why he went to Weezing. That's what I haven't actually asked him that, but that's what I'm thinking that he thought. Now, I wasn't locked in. I had Stone Edge, I had Close Combat, I had Toxic, and I had Stealth Rocks. I could have... See, I went for Stone Edge. I could have gone for like Stealth Rocks to try and get them up for when Charizard comes in. But I figured if I could kill this, I can force either the Sneasel or the Raikou into a revenge kill. And if he goes with Raikou, I could go into Mew and actually set up with Mew, because Raikou can't 2-ko Mew. It has to 3-ko unless he gets a Spadef drop, or a... because he did carry Shadow Ball, or if he gets a crit, which if he did that, I mean, that's Mons, it is what it is. Or if he went Bronzong, I could get a damage off on Bronzong, he would kill Terrakion, and then I could go in with Mew again. He would probably Toxic, but at that point I actually think it would be a little bit too late. Though I did learn afterwards, which was actually very surprising to me, that his Bronzong was heat-proof and not levitate. It was really good tech on his side. He said that the only real ground move he feared was Terrakion having EQ, but he figured that I would probably go for close combat over EQ anyway, so there's no reason to really fear the EQ, which actually made sense in my mind, because the thing is, even though Mega Steelix can't Earthquake it if it was Levitate, Bronzong never beats Mega Steelix, basically. That's kind of the thought process, because if both were to Iron Defense Body Press, Mega Steelix would win in the end. So I actually understood his thought process behind Heatproof, and it was really good tech from his side, because that actually made it so Mew couldn't sweep. I learned afterwards, but at this point of time, I missed the Stone Edge. I was like, oh, god damn it. But if he killed me, it wouldn't have been so bad, because I could have gone into Mew. He T-Spiked. That actually mattered quite a lot. It's really annoying. I Stone Edge. I miss again somehow. I missed 2 Stone Edge in a row. 2 80% moves. He Strange Steams. 90% move. He hits. He kills me. He doesn't die to the burn, which is a little bit annoying, but at the same time is also it was positive, but the only problem is he was still burned, so he would die next turn. If he wasn't burned and I could have double danced right here and now, I would have had a decent chance of winning. Um, because but I go in, I get poisoned. It's only one layer toxic, so it's better than getting poisoned from toxic by Bronzong. He strange steams, he dies to the burn. Now here, as I said, if he didn't get burned, actually, I would have been able to double dance, which means put up my nasty plot. As I mentioned, I didn't know his Bronzong was heat proof. I thought at this point that was my only chance of winning, and I'm pretty sure I still would have had a good chance of winning if it wasn't for the double Stone Edge Mesh. Because if you look at this scenario right here, if I wasn't poisoned because he got the one layer of Toxic Spike Ups, Mew would have survived 1 HP. I would have been able to nasty plot, and I would be able to kill this. He would then have brought in his Sneasel, because Sneasel did have Ice Shard. But still, I would have gotten a kill on this. He brings in Sneasel, kill Mew. I bring in Vaporeon. Remember, Toxic Spikes wouldn't be here. Vaporeon would be able to get a Wish off. He brings most likely either Bronzong or Raikou, because Charizard would be dead at this point. As I wish, I go into Noivern on his Raikou or his Bronzong, and I start just firing off Choice Specs moves. It would been a more of a battle of the mind than what it came out to be, because here my Mew dies because of the poison. I go into my Noivern. He actually decides to swap, which I don't really get why, because had I clicked Shadow Ball there, I actually had a good chance of 2-coing this Bronzong. So I don't really understood why he did that. I guess, like, as I mentioned, he was heat proof, so he thought that if I had Flamethrower, he could always survive it. But I actually had Shadow Ball because I didn't want to end up stuck in the Flamethrower against the Charizard. So that's why I went for Shadow Ball. Plus, Shadow Ball also does a good chunk to Raikou. Now, Sneasel does resist it, but still does like 30-something%, so it's a decent move. Plus, Sneasel I could always swap in with Vaporeon, basically, if Vaporeon was just above 50%, I think. But yeah, this basically just becomes kind of a game where, like, I had no chance of winning after that edge miss. Basically, I would have to have done some insane things. I Boom Burst here for as much damage as possible. I actually get the Wish fired up in the end. I didn't intentionally actually go for the Wish to do this, but it worked out perfectly. But now he sees I'm locked into Boom Burst, so he's just going to Bronzong, sits there and resists everything. So yeah, he just Gyro Balls me twice. As a Boom Burst, like a Boom Burst crit would have been cool, even though it wouldn't have killed. But yeah, he kills me here, and like the only positive thing about this having to be a post recording, which I will actually think do a clip either in the beginning of the video of the actual battle to kind of show that it actually didn't have commentary, like I didn't say anything because the mic wasn't on, just to show that this isn't because I'm salty, because I know some people would probably think that. But no, I actually it wasn't my intention. But as I was saying, the only positive is you won't hear me completely on and 100% rage. Like, I was so mad because this game, plus I played a game in the Draft League, which, by the way, you should totally watch that. I'm so excited about that league. Also, I have another league starting up from potentially next week. That is my near and dear league, WPF. We just had coach reveals, and I did make it in, but I will make a separate video about that. But yeah, you didn't get to hear my completely raging moment, which might be a good thing, though. I feel like the raging moments is what makes this genuine. But yeah, this was unfortunately my playoff run. I lost in a very annoying way. And like, there's not much I can really say about it. I don't think I played bad. I definitely don't think either of us played bad. I don't think either of us like amazed the other one. But it come down. We kind of agree. It did come down to the hacks being the matter. But even without the hacks, it would still have been a really interesting game because of his Bronzong being heat proof. If I could get Chip on the Bronzong and then go into Mew, I would have won 100% because his Sneasel wasn't Sash or Scarf, and the same with Raikou, it wasn't Scarf or Sash or anything. So I could kill the rest of the monster. This Bronzong is the main thing that would be the big issue. But yeah, that's my UPA run this time around. I'm happy. I'm glad for those that watched. And maybe I'll be back with UPA someday. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, with that, I'm out. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you like the video, and leave a comment down below what you think. Do you actually prefer postcom? Let me know. And as always, subscribe to the channel for future videos. And with that, I'm out. Peace, YouTube.